Good morning, you guys. It is a Saturday morning here, and I have just been, I think, in a slump altogether. I was doing really well there for a little bit, and then, I don't know, I just like hit this roadblock mentally on so many things. I think a lot of it has to do with just being busy. I don't really feel like burnt out. Like I am in a very creative mood. I'm really wanting to get into a lot of different like art projects and like projects that I have been planning for the past couple of weeks. I feel like the two biggest areas in my life where I just kind of feel like I'm in a little bit of a slump is doing my makeup and reading. And so 100 Days of Makeup has officially been put on pause, and I'm hoping to kind of break that. I'm hoping to post a look today and get back into it because I have done makeup. It's just when it comes down to the posting, I think that's where it gets me, and I'm like, I can never find the time, and then by the time I think about it, it's already like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I didn't post today. So I'm hoping to get out of that mindset, and hopefully post today or get a post ready for tomorrow or something along that line. So yeah, my skin's been recovering, but I think it's time. I have my Ipsy boxy charm situation going on, so I'm kind of thinking I will film with that today. But besides that though, my reading slump, definitely a reading slump where I want to read. I just feel like the last couple of books maybe have just done me in a little bit. I feel like I didn't put enough consideration into building my TBR for Summerween, and I just kind of felt so devastated. Like, I feel like I had some good picks, but then I DNF'd a book, and then like the last book I went into literally just took me like, I don't know. Like I read like half of it and was doing so good on the final day of Summerween, and then I was just like checked out. So I like paused, and I would almost read like a chapter a day until finally I was like, okay, I have to finish this and get, that video all wrapped up. So if you did miss my Summerween, go check it out. It's probably my last vlog. But today I decided I haven't vlogged like all week besides finally checking in and finishing that vlog. I thought, you know what, to get me out of this slump and this mood, I'm going to just start a new vlog. And it's just going to be today, so it's just a day in the life with me, this weekend edition, and it's going to definitely be a book day. So while I do other things, I'm going to be reading Ali Hazelwood's new Love Theoretically. This just came out, I believe, last month, and I automatically stuck it on hold for my library. I'm sure I'm going to be buying this book because you can't see, but back here on my shelf I have her three other books. So that is the plan for today. I'm going to try to maybe be productive with some other things and have fun with some other things. I have this like strawberry roll recipe. It's almost like cinnamon rolls, but instead of like the cinnamon, you put like a strawberry jam on the inside, and then you still do like the frosting like over it. It looked so good, so I got everything to make that. So I'm thinking about making those today at some point. I could have done that for breakfast, but James picked me up some Starbucks with groceries, and he currently has the boys outside jumping on the trampoline and playing. So I'm gonna take advantage of this alone time and see how much I can get rid of this morning, and I will check back in with you guys in a little bit. But I have not looked too much into what this book is about because I feel like with especially romance or, modern, like contemporary romance, it's best to go into the book blind because a lot of the time the synopsis gives way too much away. It gives usually like the whole story, and then whenever you read the book, you just kind of get like, those sprinkles of like stuff that's not in the synopsis. But yeah, I feel like it takes away so much of the story. But what I can tell you will be in this is a strong woman in STEM. I'm going to be once again shown the difficulties of being a strong woman in STEM in a setting where it's normally men, and how she navigates that and what she's going through. And I feel like out of anything that I take away from Ali Hazelwood's books, I think I fall in love with her characters so fast. Even though sometimes it kind of seems like questionable as to why. But the lead female I always absolutely adore, and she just has a way to just suck me into her characters. Her writing style is so just laid back and fun that I zoom through her books and they're just always so freaking cute. I feel like she does like the romance aspect very, again, kind of like cute, but she definitely does know how to make things spicy. So there is that. But I have read just about every book from her. The first book I read was Love on the Brain, and I still regret that. I wish that I would have read The Love Hypothesis first, which was her first book. It definitely is better. So if you're going to give Ali Hazelwood a go, I definitely recommend The Love Hypothesis. And I believe those characters make an appearance in this book, so that's why I'm so excited too. But yeah, I feel like if you read The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain, you might be a little disappointed because they are very, very super similar, but I definitely recommend reading The Love Hypothesis because although I do agree that they're so similar, reading that one even after Love on the Brain, I was like, oh my god, this book is so good. I just cheese all the way through her book. So I am so excited for this. I think it's really going to help me get out of my reading slump. We're getting somewhat different characters, but we do have another lead who is brown or dark haired, and I can say though we had other leads in the short stories, so I really appreciate her like thinking about that for other people, and I just hope that kind of like continues. I hope we continue to get like different characters. But our lead in the male role, you can see, it looks like lighter haired, maybe like sandy blonde, where normally it's like tall, dark type of vibe. Definitely her vibe. That it's just kind of nice to see a little bit of a difference. But the last thing I wanted to say, that I also believe that there is representation, and there is a character in here that is a diabetic. And so I'm super excited for that too, and to see how that all is wrapped up in this book. I'm sure she does it in such a good way. I believe I had heard somebody talk about a fainting spell that the character has, because she is diabetic, and how it's supposed to be like really sweet, like on his end, like helping her out. So I'm just like, oh, I can't wait. But I'm going to start this, and I will check back in with you guys in a bit and let you know how it's going. I really wanted to film already, but I got sucked into this book this morning, you guys. So yeah, that's why I don't have makeup on my face yet. But then the last like hour or so, I've been in here like contemplating like what to do. Of my BoxyCharm for this month, I have like other things I really need to film too. So yeah, I think that's why I keep falling into like the beauty rut of not knowing what to film, what to put out. I don't know what people want to watch anymore too, but I've decided to take a break because I feel like I've wasted an hour and still don't know what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to do my hair. I'm so hooked into this book right now, you guys, though. I made it to a little over, I think, 100 pages this morning. Yeah, and I'm at chapter 7. The little chapter things are so cute, and she always has like the best like chapter names that go along with STEM. They're so cute. Sorry, my hair is like driving me insane. It's not gonna look cute this check-in, you guys. So far we have met the main characters. So we have Elsie, which I keep wanting to say Elise. And if you read this, you know why. But not really a full-on spoiler, because I do feel like this just kind of shows another aspect of how sometimes the littlest thing can show how a woman is treated, where a man probably wouldn't have that same thing happen. But in this case, her like mentor has always called her Elise, and she has like the biggest like love for him, admiration. Like she really looks up to him in so many ways, and she talks about like how he's done all this amazing stuff, and I really do think it's like a foreshadowing of like, I think she's still like figuring out things, and obviously she is, and it's almost a very foretelling book in a way that I feel like we're figuring out Elsie before she is, and seeing what needs to change, or probably will change before the end of the book, of what she needs in her life. And so she is currently a professor, but this is where I kind of go a little whoosh, kind of goes over my head, because I don't know like how all of this works in STEM, and where everything kind of falls. I do know that she's into physics. She is a theorist, and she kind of just has the job that you get like right after college, which isn't always like what you want, or I guess like what you imagine, especially for her getting her PhD and, you know, thinking like life is going to be so smooth now. And then just to find out like she's going to be like stuck at this job that she hates. And it's a class that she doesn't really want to teach, and she has to teach so many of them that it just no longer is like fun. And we get a lot of little snippets of emails she gets as this professor of people like trying to get an extension, or like making up excuses of why they can't be in class, and, you know, little different funny things that I feel like she does add in her books. We kind of get a little bit with Love on the Brain, which is also mentioned in this book, which I thought was really cute. But with Love on the Brain, you have like those little snippets of like Twitter posts, where with this one you have like her emails. We are learning more and more about her dysfunctional family. Her mother's constantly calling her and trying to have her kind of take her place as being a mother to her younger twin brothers, who are nuisances. So it kind of just shows like how she did kind of come not from so much like, I mean, yeah, a dysfunctional family in a way where she's kind of held up and put like on a pedestal. And like I mentioned before, there is the fact that she is a diabetic as well, which I absolutely have loved reading about so far. And I hope it kind of goes further in that direction, because I feel like it's just something that makes a character so relatable. And I don't have diabetes, but I feel like it's such a good representation for others who do suffer with diabetes. And the bonus on top of that is I feel like it makes the character more of a realistic character than just the perfect character image of like, you know, how I feel like a lot of characters are portrayed in contemporary romance. I also like her personality as being like a people pleaser. It has been so freaking relatable, and feeling like have to like morph into character depending on who you're around, and just you're never worried about yourself and how you want to be, and just wanting to be your authentic self. It's always what would make them feel better? What would make them feel more comfortable? What do they expect from me? And even that itself has been so relatable to me, and such an eye-opener that like I've gotten better over the years, but I feel like I'm still not fully there when it comes to just certain people in my life, and family is a big one. And so this has been a really nice, relatable read. And I say all of that because it really shows that Ali Hazelwood, just like I mentioned earlier, I think that's why I love her books so much, is because her characters are just like a breath of fresh air. They feel like real people and not, well, the female. It just feels very much like life. like that it's not all just centered around the romance as much as there's so many things that come into play. There's always a huge plot and a bunch of little plots that kind of sprout from that, and we are following along with Elsie trying to navigate her life as wanting to be in this career, wanting to go further, and she is now being offered to come and interview for this huge job where she would still be a professor, but like more in a, I guess, upgraded job. Like she would have benefits, health benefits, which would really help her since she is a diabetic. And on top of that, like just a lot of nicer things would happen in life if she gets this job, and it would just help her out so much. Her and her roommate Cece kind of just scrape by month to month and are kind of in the same boat together, and their friendship has been so fun to read. And Cece is a friend that everybody needs. She really helps ground Elsie, and they kind of stumble upon this idea. There's this certain app called Faux, and it's where men who are usually more wealthy, so they have the money to spend on it, will hire people on this app to pretend to be their fake partner and take them to family functions or work functions to make themselves look better and look like they're settled, they have a partner. And that kind of comes into play with Elsie and feeling like she can never be herself because she constantly has to like role play and be, you know, a person's date, and, you know, meeting families and different things like that, which just sounds horrendous. But it is a side hustle that helps them get by every single month. But now it's kind of coming into play with her life, as she comes to find out one of the people she is interviewing in front of that will be a future potential colleague is kind of intertwined with it, and she's starting to realize how much that personal side of her life, well, not really personal, but like what she has to do for her personal life is kind of gonna collide with this professional life that she desires. Been introduced to Jack, the male in this, and it is already like this, it's almost like that, like what I'm getting from it so far is it's gonna be like that one-sided enemies to lover, but there's definitely that banter there. I definitely am getting the same vibes trope-wise as I did in Love on the Brain and The Love Hypothesis and some of her others as well, where it definitely does kind of feel like it's gonna be one-sided, which is not bad. I actually really love that trope, and I think it's really cute, and, you know, I do feel like she does like the miscommunication in a good way to where it feels more of like misunderstanding or kind of just being like, oh, that would never happen, or, you know, the character just being so in their head about work and taking, you know, their life so seriously that it's hard for them to like see those signs or feel a certain way about that person, or just kind of feel like they're a roadblock for them, so they have to hate them even though they may think they're cute, that type of ordeal. So it does feel like enemies to lover just because there's that banter that I love so much, and that has been really cute so far. And while I can say I was really hopeful for that dynamic to be still somewhat different, I feel like the con that I'm having so far with this book is that it is very much so a lot like her past ones. So again, I'm enjoying myself, but I feel like I'm just here for Ali Hazelwood's writing, and I feel like a lot of people, if they have read her work, they're probably going to be like, oh, another one, because I kind of already am feeling that. Again, I'm enjoying myself, and it's probably going to get a high rating just because her writing just, I get so giddy with her writing and everything. And I think I do enjoy the story and the plot and all of that and the uniqueness of those, but I feel like the love story is kind of repetitive when it comes to Ali. I do have to just throw it out there, and I do have to be a little about the fact that although we seem to have different characters, I am just kind of feeling like Elsie is very much so like B and Olive. I feel like I'm getting the same vibes with the female leads once again. And on top of that, Jack is very much so acting a lot like Adam and Levi. And so I feel like that's always the hardest part for me, is her, although like the girls sometimes seem so similar, and I feel like maybe a lot of the inspiration of the female leads come from Ali herself. And I love that. I love all of her female characters, and I continue to just adore them. But I feel like the male is always just, oh my gosh, you guys, every chapter describes him as being like a boulder, or just being so tall and being so masculine and so mysterious. And okay, you know, I like the mysterious vibe. I just feel like at the same time though, like, get like the mysterious vibe comes in with wanting to have that miscommunication of that like one-sided, like that one-sided enemies to lover type of ordeal. But I just find it so repetitive that I do kind of wish we had a little bit more of a diverse male in these stories. Like, I wish that it would change a little bit, because like I said, I mean, I love Levi and I love Adam, but I kind of feel like I'm reading about the same people when this is supposed to be somebody completely different. But I'm only 100 pages in, so I'm gonna give it some more time. I'm gonna do something with this hair because it's wild. I may even film before I see you guys again, so maybe I'll have makeup on my face. But I definitely think I kind of want to at least read another good chunk before I come back to you guys on any thoughts that I have, because this is just kind of like what I'm predicting. I feel like it's already building up to be pretty predictable, but I do think I may get some curveballs, and I think that I'm still going to have those moments of like, you know, like where she's gonna get me. She always does. Okay, you guys, so did I film already? No. But I got sucked back into the book for like another 100 pages. So I thought I would check in with you guys because I am currently filming. And I think I have filmed everything that I need until I get to the lip. And I do more eyeshadow. I haven't made my mind up there. I am such a fall mood today though, and like a sweater. And like, this is Brazilian Glow eyeshadow palette. If you guys want to see this whole look though, and like the other products and stuff I used, check out my recent BoxyCharm video. Well, I say recent, but by the time you guys see this, I don't know if it'll be recent, so I'm just gonna link it up above. Let's see, I am at chapter 15. I think I'm officially halfway in, and such a good stopping point, let me tell you. If you read this book, chapter 15, literally was glancing at the first page. Let me just put it like this. I don't know if you guys watch Katie Coulson. I love her. And I, in spirit of reading this while I did my hair, and because I was gonna get the audiobook, but I was like, no, I really love physically reading Ali Hazelwood because I love the writing so much. So I didn't get the audiobook. So while I was doing my hair, which you guys can barely see, but I did just kind of like crimped it, something easy, you guys. Anyways, I pulled up one of her recent, as of now, currently vlogs, and I knew she was doing something like this because she posted in her stories about this book, but she has type 1 diabetes, and she does talk about it, and so I was really excited to see that she posted this, but she did a diabetes reading vlog, and she's also upgrading to an Omnipod 5, which is, I believe, the pod that, like, insulin, but She goes into a lot of details about what she's currently been using that has like a tube that connects to this device that she has to like carry on her, and like just like the nuisance of it, and not even just that, but just thinking about, like, I hate whenever I would used to get in this mindset of having to count calories or count carbs and stuff like that. And I kind of have gotten out of like that diet culture like mindset. But then one of my biggest things was I hated having to keep up and count everything, and it drove me mad. And not because it was kind of like a triggering eating thing or calorie thing. It was just the nuisance of having to do it. And so thinking about having to do that literally every single day, they're not even just that, like, I feel like people always are just like the fact that they have to do injections, or they have to prick their finger, or they have to change like their ports and different things like that. Like, yeah, like that's insane. But it goes much further than that. And if you are a diabetic, or you know somebody that is, or you're like me and you're just kind of like, I feel like I'm not like oblivious to it, but at the same time, I feel like this was still such an eye-opening experience for me to be able to see like everything that goes into it, and what a diabetic has to go through day to day. And it definitely brings a bigger meaning to Elsie, the character in this book. So all that to say, definitely check out Katie. She's really cool, and I love her content regardless, but I love that she doesn't shield away from sharing it, and I think it's really awesome of her to share it for others out there who are diabetic as well, but also people like me that I just would love to learn more about it and be less, I guess, oblivious to what all goes into it. But she's really good at like showing everything, and she gets very vulnerable in it, which I just thought was so brave and awesome of her to do so. Going into it and talking about it and getting a new pod and the excitement that she feels and all of that. I'm so giddy for her, but I still can't imagine. Like, all of that to say, it's very informative and a fun and exciting vlog as well. She's reading books with diabetic characters, and one of them happens to be Love, Theoretically. And I did see this on her story because I know that she had raved about this book or said something about it, and that's one of the reasons why I was really excited to pick it up myself. I already knew I was going to. I think at that point it checked out, but she just excited me even more to actually pick it up and read it. And now here I am. But I seen that that vlog was posted, so I was like, perfect timing to watch while I do my hair in the middle of my vlog reading this book. And she doesn't get too spoilery, but I did just hit pause because I feel like she's wrapping up the book, and I have not. I'm only like 50% in, and I just heard her talk about like the 50% mark, or where I just left off. So I don't really want anything spoiled for me, so I think I'm gonna hold off until I can get a little bit farther, and then I'm going to finish her vlog. But I definitely agree with Katie. She said something along the lines of, sometimes reading Ali Hazelwood is kind of, ugh, but then at the same time, it's you just get so excited at the same time, and I'm like, I feel this to my core. I almost feel like, now I'll be the first to tell you that her writing is so good, and I love it so much, and I love her so much. I've never met her, but just through her writing, she seems like such a cool person that I would love to meet. But yes, I do feel like this is almost like a guilty pleasure, because compared to this and everything else I read, I feel like if somebody picked this up after maybe some other recommendations from me and read this, they'd probably be like, what? I think I'm gonna call it my guilty pleasure. Like, I love her book so much. I don't know what to tell you. But it definitely is moments, and that's where I'm saying with going into this next chapter, what I glanced at on the first page of the chapter, and I'm like, okay. And I'm really not a prude when it like comes to romance and stuff like that, but there is just, I don't know, I feel like it's almost like her books are always like not, I don't want to say so serious, but like they touch on such like important topics. And then, yes, to an extent serious because we're talking about like scientists and, really educated people. And that is just kind of a, when she goes there, and usually it's just like, I don't know, even like these characters have been a little bit out there too, like with just randomly saying something. I'm like, whoa, it like kind of catches me off guard because I'm like, I just didn't think that from them. It's so, yeah, there is moments where I'm just kind of like, but at the same time, I'm always so giddy and just so excited to be reading that, yeah. But I love that me and Katie are kind of feeling the same way about the book. Like I said, I kind of have to like leave it there because I want to finish the book, and then I will definitely go back to her vlog and finish it. I just don't want any more moments to be like told to me beforehand or spoiled. Like I want to experience it reading it. But she does mention the scene that I mentioned of her kind of having like a fainting spell because of the drop in her insulin, or maybe I think it was she forgot to like check in on it or something like that, but she has like a fainting spell. But all right, I had to pause just so that I could get my little section with my brush filmed for my BoxyCharm video. But like I was saying, yes, I did have to kind of like pause because I don't want any parts spoiled, because she has talked about, she doesn't really go into full spoilers, but she does talk about some scenes that are a little bit more heavy, like on the whole diabetic aspect of the story or of the character. I don't know how I am feeling like with this book, because I feel like I've kind of got to a point to where I'm liking it. I'm liking the characters. I feel like I'm so torn because it's kind of like back to what I was kind of picking up of the character, almost like it's a hate to love or enemies to lover, like one-sided. And like, I kind of, it is definitely like picking up on that. So it's almost like that miscommunication. And again, she does a really good job at doing that. I just feel like since it's been in other books of hers, it's a little bit more, I don't know, because I'm really not like disliking it. There's just been like a couple moments where I felt a little let down that like this smart, incredible woman in STEM is not picking it up, or picking up like that little bit of miscommunication. And I think that's the only areas that ever like really get to me. I'm a little confused. So anyways, that's why I came into this check-in of saying to check out Katie Coulson, because I feel like if anything that you can take away from this book, my favorite part so far has been the diabetic representation. It has just been incredible, and I like how often it's mentioned, and she does it in such a phenomenal way. And I'm glad that I was able to watch Katie as being a diabetic, that she can actually like confirm, like she really appreciates how detailed and how much this character thinks about it, and how the littlest thing she'll feel the littlest way and she's like, oh, okay, I need to check my levels. And it's very, I guess some would say repetitive, but I love it. It's so real and like, yeah, I mean, just realistic as a character, that it feels like a real person that I'm reading about. And yeah, that is my favorite thing that I'm taking away from this book so far. But I am very, very hopeful, and I'm going to finish up my makeup look, and then I think I'm going to go make some strawberry rolls or strawberry buns, whatever they're called. And I think we're also going to do curry chicken for dinner. So yeah, I'll check back in with you guys in a bit. if you're wondering if the last 100 pages have like turned my thoughts around, they have. I am now at page 250, or I just wrapped that up. I'm chapter 18, and I have 130-ish pages. Oh my gosh, you guys. I can say, though, for an Ali Hazelwood, I do feel like this is slightly more slow burn than her typical books. I did watch a little bit more of Katie's video while I was making the curry chicken, and there is a scene that I have read, and it literally like just happened because they're on like a date right now, and it's the type of ordeal where he like took her to like a party with like a bunch of his friends and stuff like that, and like he remembered to bring her like this little like package of nuts as a snack to keep like her levels okay, and it's so sweet, you guys. I had just read to that part and then was making dinner and heard her talk about it, and she was like, oh my gosh, you guys, the little package of nuts that he had for her. I'm like, I know, it's so cute. There is, I feel like, some cringy moments that about I almost feel like they're like dancing around like their attraction for each other now, or I don't know, it's almost like trying to make him out to be like he was a playboy, or like would tell women that he was just in it to get laid and then like move on. And it's just like this a weird vibe because I don't get that from him, but at the same time I'm like, is that what I'm supposed to get from this character? I'm so torn on the male character in this. And then we get a little bit more information from like his family, and it's like, oh, your heart just melts. But then like they'll start having these conversations again. I'm like, I don't know how I feel. I can say though, I felt like my last check-in, I had to give you guys something. And I felt a little defeated, I'm not gonna lie, with how or where this book was going. To where now I'm like, okay, you know, it's taking me somewhere. If anything, I'm giddy. And I think this is a good time to pause and talk to you guys because I'm literally in the middle of their date. They just left the party. Now they're going out to dinner together and they're talking some more. And I'm like, okay, maybe we're going to start getting somewhere. But definitely very slow burn on the spiciness. If that is what you're here for, you're not going to get it. I mean, 251 pages, and it's just kind of been, I thought it was gonna go there in my last check-in, and it's just kind of like a couple of like, you know, things are said that you might just be like about, or you might really love, but being actual, I guess. So I do like to say that because I know some people are just like, I'm not reading any romance unless there's a lot of spice throughout it. So this is not, I feel like, her typical. I feel like by now there's usually something, but I don't know. I think it's cute and it's picking up pace, and I feel like if anything, what I love about this book is that it's really focused so much in on Elsie in a way that just makes it work. It almost feels like a literary fiction almost, where we're just like really following along with her and like her life post getting her PhD and like trying to navigate like her adult life now and like what she should do career-wise, who she should trust. I think that there's going to be a reveal soon about that, and who kind of has like her best interest and who doesn't. And I feel like a good portion of this is also going to be forgiving and like realizing that people make mistakes. I feel like is really going to come into play, and I don't know, there's a lot in this book, and I feel like the more I'm continuing on now, it's gotten a lot better, it's picking up, and I'm excited to where it's going. But all that to say, I hope it doesn't go south. Like, I hope we keep going up because right now I really like it. But I still wanted to check in. I am going to take a break after this because I have got my filming done. We ate the curry chicken. Oh, so good. I've missed it. We haven't had it in a while. And then I came in here and touched up my lip because I forgot to take pictures. So I'm going to take pictures. And then, to be completely honest with you guys, I think I'm going to chill out for a little bit. I still have not made the strawberry rolls or whatever. I really want to tonight, but I just want to read, and now I'm mad at myself for not getting the audiobook, but like I literally have like 130-ish pages left and I'm like, I can just read this. But yeah, I'm gonna take some pictures so that I can dress down and maybe take my makeup off soon, although it is still looking so pretty. And I don't know. I guess you guys will see what happens before my next check-in, which could be my last check-in for the night, because I think I'm going to be wrapping everything up, hopefully within the next one. Okay, you guys might be slanted, everything else. Oh my god. You guys, it is so late, and I took a break, which was a mistake because I could potentially be in bed right now, but I did take a break. I'm sucked back into the Vampire Diaries, so I've been rewatching it for like the quadrillionth time, and I should have been reading, but I was watching, and I apologize. I look like a mess. Did finish the book, and I did make the strawberry rolls. Touch up my lips so that doesn't drive me insane in editing, and I'm sure my mascara will. Honestly, you guys, out of all of Ali Hazelwood's books, I think this is the one that I was like least emotional with, although I did resonate so much with the main character and this like people-pleasing quality of hers. The last like 130-ish pages were the smut. And I'm not gonna lie, out of all of Ali Hazelwood books, I think I cringed the most in this one, unfortunately. It's one of those scenes where it gets a little bit too almost cringe, because, I mean, it was kind of cringe for me, because of the repeated, like, asking and the repeated, I don't know, just the way things were and how, I don't know, it's just kind of one of those if you know type of ordeal, but I did feel like I needed to put it out here because after I left you guys last and I picked this book up again, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is where it's all at. So it definitely was a slow burn to the smut. And honestly, I think I prefer, and I think she is a repeated offender of this, of putting sex scenes back to back, which I wouldn't care if they're maybe like done down a little bit, but I almost would have preferred to have like more spicy scenes like throughout. It doesn't have to be like a full sex scene, but just something that's a little bit more spicy that happens. And I kind of feel like we got that in like The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of wish we had a little bit more of that than like this like 2 chapters full of it just in a chunk, you know? So yeah, all in all, I think I'm gonna give it a 4. I don't think I could give it a 5 because I don't think it tops the Love Hypothesis for me. I don't even know if it tops the Love on the Brain for me. I did enjoy it though, and it's been a great day of reading. I am now sitting down to enjoy my milk, which I have in a mug, and my strawberry roll. You can kind of see a little bit of the jam coming out. It's not like the prettiest ever. It doesn't taste terrible, but I do think it was supposed to be a little bit more fluffy. It's a little bit more denser than I was hoping for. But the icing is really good. Definitely need to practice more with my rolls though, because it's pretty dense. But you know what? One of my goals this summer was to bake and get back into it and the love of baking, and I'm glad that I'm doing that. I feel like I've had a lot of successful baking things this summer as well, so this just is one of the flops. I need to work on it, but it still is really good. Okay, I'm coming at you guys on my phone because my camera, it's the second card that is full and I refuse to go get another right now. So I am wrapping this vlog up. I'm going to chill out for a bit, finish Katie Colson's video, and see her final thoughts on this book, what she thought of it. I have taken some cute pictures today, done my makeup, although I look a little wild now. I have to say though, like I said, I didn't get too emotional with this book. The only part where I feel like I got a little bit emotional, and that's I think where this a little bit of mascara came from, was actually her coming to terms with being like that people pleaser. And it was a part where she's confronting that and confessing it to her like best friend. And I think that was like the most emotional part for me in the whole book, was like her friendship with Cece. It was just really cute. But yeah, I'm gonna chill out, eat a little bit of my roll, finish that video, see her thoughts on this book, and yeah, leave you guys there. Thank you guys for following along with a day in the life. It was kind of a lazy day, but I definitely enjoyed it. It's been a nice Saturday, and I'm hoping that this definitely kickstarts and gets me out of that slump. I am feeling motivated to pick up my next book and read, so far I think it's doing the trick. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.